Confederation of Educational Institutions of India is the leading not-for-profit confederation in the national education space, with a mission to support communities, industries, and governments through the promotion of global knowledge, learning, research, education, and training initiatives. This is Dr. Sandeep Ananthanarayanan. I'm the co-chair for CEII's Special Projects Committee, bringing you this edition of CEII's IVY Dialogues of Hope Talk Series. CEII's IVY SDG Talk Series represents the inspirational, visionary, and youth-oriented conversations that are defining today's India. In this milieu, the current theme for the CEII Talk Series is Dialogues of Hope, which are conversations with India's leading educational leaders on how should India's youth address their educational and knowledge needs in today's scenario. With us today is Ms.Rima Singh, Head of School, DPS International School, Gurugram. She has a combined experience of more than 2 decades in teaching and school administration in the UAE and India. Ms.Rima Singh is an awardee of the famed Golden Leaf Award. She has been associated with IB education for over 15 years and has received extensive training by IB for understanding and implementing all the IB programs. Ms.Rima Singh, thank you for being with us today in this talk series. I'll quickly start with my first question. With the current lockdown in place and with the current pandemic issue going around, students across India have various questions with respect to the COVID-19 disease. Now, parents are one source of information, but more often than not, students reach out to their educators to find out what is going on, what is this pandemic, how do they handle this pandemic issue. So what would be your suggestion for educators if students reach out to them and ask them questions on this disease? How should an educator handle such questions?
See, first of all, no one was actually ready for this kind of a situation. It just came into our lives and turned it around 180 degrees, I would say. We had been hearing about it from China from January onwards, and the implications of what it would be, we could not imagine. At our level, we had started referring to the WHO guidelines and the UNICEF guidelines, which is what I firmly believe in, using genuine sources for any kind of information. And I had started sharing that with the staff in my school. And we'd also started getting our workplace ready with those guidelines, and that information had been shared with the parents. But I think mid-March is when we all just, suddenly the measures taken by our government closed the school, and we had to transition into an online teaching and learning. So I think the first 2 weeks, it kept us very busy trying to figure it out to meet the students' needs. But along with that, as the teachers were busy with that, the principals were looking into that, my role was there very actively to make sure that the correct information reaches out to the parents and students. So I personally send out a lot of guidelines, messages, and with references to these genuine, news information sources, and also advise the parents that not to just, to actually reduce the media consumption for themselves and the students to get wrong kind of information. The guideline was always to refer to the WHO site and the Ministry of Health from India. Use those sites. And the educators also have been prepared for that. So I think they are able to give children the right kind of information they want. The parents were also shared the guidelines of what kind of language they should use at home. Because children are going to turn to them now that the school is not there where they ask questions to the teacher. So they're going to turn around to the parents to ask those questions. So an advisory also went to the students how they should address that, reassure the children, not create or pass on the panic they might be feeling. So I think we are in a good space at the moment. We are able to handle those questions and assure our children as much as we can under these circumstances.
Excellent. I think the point about having less media consumption is a very important point, given the barrage of news going around and giving information. That's a very valid point. Now, you also gone and reached out to the parents with respect to telling them about how to handle this issue. But there's another very important issue that parents are facing, which is when children are at home 24/7, their routine, the discipline, to instill that in students is really tough. How would you actually encourage parents to somehow encourage their children in turn to follow routine and discipline and perhaps the online classes that schools are doing? What would be your suggestion to parents?
Okay, so as I mentioned that we transitioned into online teaching learning, I was very conscious that for us being an IB school, it was still middle of a term. It was not end of a school year like other schools with national board. We still have a lot of curriculum to finish, or there are a lot of school events and a parent teacher meeting and term end reports to be done. So we quickly made plans for that, plans which we could deliver virtually, and we scheduled a proper timetable for students which was a mix of online and offline teaching. So the children have been kept busy, and we have got a lot of feedback from parents that in fact almost till 3 o'clock they are very busy. The older children have even got the advantage now, they can reach out to the teacher later in the evening. As we always know the children wanted the school day to start later, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I used to get those suggestions from the older children. For them we've been able to do that so that they could study till 5 in the evening if morning they do not want to do it in the morning. And teachers have been very flexible. So with teaching and learning, of course they have been very busy. Besides that, we have very consciously through the virtual platform again offered children fun energizers, social emotional learning classes which address social and emotional learning, because we understand they're going through a lot of things. And of course we have not passed on the responsibility to parents as much, but we just have told them, we've shared some guidelines about how they should give them a structured place in the house, give them a proper space, undisturbed space when they are attending the classes, give them healthy meals, and make sure they take regular breaks. When we give a break, children also should move around. So that's the role the parent has to play. Other than that, I think we are still continuing as much as close to a uninterrupted school day or a school calendar, so that we can finish the year with satisfaction.
That's absolutely an outstanding effort given the less amount of time that all schools, including yours, would have got to transition into this online medium. Uh, in this scenario where you've transitioned to an online medium, how have you trained your teachers? Because for teachers who have not been trained in the past to teach online, how have you given that training? How have you made them be comfortable and ready to teach students through the online medium?
Okay, I think we have an advantage over here, even though our school is 6 years old. For the last 5 years, we have been a Microsoft Showcase school. And we have a BYOD policy, one-on-one. All the middle school children have one device each, and all teachers have their own laptops.
Wow,
So online
fantastic.
teaching is nothing new to us. We have been trained very well by Microsoft for using Teams. So we didn't even have to think twice. It was just that the volume of work increased, but we have always been using online teaching methods earlier also. We've flipped classroom, we have adopted. And I have been preparing teachers for this kind of a virtual school day, because the last year's calendar got disrupted a lot due to pollution and other
True.
reasons. So I have been preparing teachers and have never missed out an opportunity to upskill them with technology, so that if we ever needed, we could use it. And it absolutely happened. It just fell into place, and now I call them dear e-teachers. I always address them as e-teachers now.
Excellent, excellent. So, in this scenario, the students who've just given their perhaps 12th exams, or students who are going into the higher grade, the highest grade, there's a scenario which is very ambiguous. There's anxiety that these students have with respect to their future education. What would be your suggestion to these students? What should they expect going forward?
See, we're very aware of that, and in fact, it's going to be a first batch which is going to be graduated. So, it's a very, very special batch. It's a small cohort of 15 students who will be graduating, and suddenly they have no exams now. So, the IB has shared a lot of guidelines with us how they will get their diploma, and that is what we have assured the children. And their performance over the last 2 years is also going to be the a guiding factor to the grades they get. I mean, the IB has point system, And IB is working very closely with the universities. A lot of our children have already got very good offers from universities, international universities. And now it's the diploma, the points they will get will confirm those admissions. We are in touch with them. We are in touch with the parents. In fact, we've just finished our mock exams with them online again. And the children really rose up to the occasion. And now we are just telling them for the next few weeks, use this time because they'll never get this time again. They are young adults, they are at home. I'm sure they can take an active part at what's happening in the house, be there for the younger siblings, and also occupy themselves, engage themselves in things which they probably never had the time last 2 years preparing for their grade 12th exams. And somehow we have to keep them motivated, and they have to stay positive because they're not in it alone. Everybody in the world is facing the same situation, all high school children. I know the uncertainty is there, but overthinking about it is not going to help them. Whatever will happen, I'm sure everybody is conscious that the times are difficult, and I think all universities will also have very flexible policies to be able to accommodate these students. So I can only reassure them that things will happen, things will get better. Not to worry and not to overthink too much at the moment.
Great. I think that's an excellent advice. Our final question to you would be, you just said that you, apart from the academic courses, you are also having some fun learning for the children through the online medium, possibly. What about parents? Are you also addressing parents as a stakeholder for some kind of learning, some kind of group learning?
uh, Not exactly group learning, but yeah, a lot of guidelines and simple advisory. In fact, my counselors are reaching out. Counselors have also been sending them small mailers about what they can do, some positive parenting tips. And we've just initiated a teletherapy initiative for the children who want to reach out. Maybe they feel not necessarily children who've been going for to counselors, but anybody at this moment would need to connect with somebody. So for the staff also and the children also, the counselors we have a very big counseling team. So the parents also, all of them, any of them could reach out to the counselor and just have a casual chat, that which may make them feel better, or if they have any questions. I have been consciously sending hopefully very positive messages to the team, and I've got the time to flash everything good which is happening on different social media, so to keep the staff motivated. And so we are all doing a bit here. Yeah, but maybe it's a good idea. I could have a fun session with the parents too.
Outstanding. Ms. Rima Singh, it has been a pleasure to talk with you in this sequence of the Ivy Talk series. We hope to get in touch with you again very soon.